Now that I've thought this through, I will say that Scooby-Doo is not a superhero. Castellanos at least made me think a little bit. So there you go. If that's what you tuned in for today, is Scooby-Doo a superhero? We've tackled those issues on the show.
First Name Sports, weekday afternoons from 2 to 4 Eastern.
You're listening to Western Reserve Radio, WRDB, The Scourge, a part of the Sports Map Radio Network.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash on Western Reserve Radio.
Deep right field. This is the third home run of the day. De La Cruz, McLean, and now Votto.
We call on Reds Radio, 9-0 the win over the Dodgers Sunday. Elliot De La Cruz, Joey Votto, and Matt McLean homered. Cincinnati takes over sole possession of first place in the National League Central by a half game over Milwaukee.
Castellanos back, and it's gone! A walk-off home run on his birthday! Josh Palacios!
In 10 innings, the Pirates beat the Phillies 6-4. The action courtesy of the Pirates Radio Network. Josh Palacios hit a 2-run homer in the 10th to win it.
Ramirez with a line drive to deep right. Down the line it goes, and this ball is gone.
Jose Ramirez with the home run on Guardians Radio, 5-0 the win over the White Sox Sunday. For lightning fast updates, download the Score app. It's free and one of North America's most popular sports apps. That's the Sports Flash. Chuck Sanders, Western Reserve Radio.
Hold up, you're using Swiffer Power Mop? What would Mom say?
Oh, she'd be like, a mopping bucket is the only way to deep clean your floors. And I'd be like, Mom, this is the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one that gets you a mop and bucket clean in half the time.
She'd never believe you.
I'd say, look, the solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket. And the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get into grout lines. That's why you're the smart one.
Really?
What? Mom said it.
The new Swiffer Power Mop. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See, we didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
Mill Creek Golf Course has been the Valley's leader for golfing fun since 1928. It features 36 challenging holes designed by the legendary Donald Ross and was voted a top 30 municipal facility by Golf Week in 2012. The Mill Creek Golf Shop is a certified Callaway Golf custom fitting center and is stocked with your favorite golf apparel and accessories. Mill Creek Golf Course is now booking tee times for this year's golf season. Please call us at 330-740-7112 or online at millcreekmetroparks.org.
This is Everett Fitzhugh, the radio voice of the NHL Seattle Kraken, and you're listening to the home of the Youngstown Phantoms, Western Reserve Radio.
Golf in the Mahoning Valley starts at Mill Creek Golf Course. Come out to the 36 beautiful hole design course by Donald Ross, and golf lessons are available by calling the team shop at 330-740-7112. Don't forget about family fun nights on Friday and Saturday evenings, a family of 4 with cart for only $25. Or visit the Wick Recreation Area and the lighted Par 3 course. Book your tee time today at 330-740-7112 or online at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Let's be real. The odds of a high school athlete getting a college scholarship and making it to the pros are pretty slim. Don't get me wrong. It's okay to dream of becoming a pro athlete, even a famous one. But that's not why I play. My reason why? I love the competition.
My reason why is community.
My reason why is leadership.
My reason why is to challenge myself.
My reason why is love for the game.
And hey, if we don't make it to the pros or onto the cover of Sports Illustrated, that's okay. Because there's every reason to believe we'll excel in something even bigger than sports. We'll excel in life.
There are lots of great reasons to play high school sports.
Welcome into another episode of By All Means right here on Western Reserve Radio, Season 4, Episode 25. It is 142 overall, presented by Mill Creek Golf Course. Visit millcreekmetroparks.org for more information. Going to jump right in and continue our high school football coaches tour. As on the phone, we have the head coach of the Mineral Ridge Rams, Coach Brian Shander. Coach, how are you?
Go.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Doing good over here. How about you?
Fantastic. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of practice to join us. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Wouldn't miss it.
So let's jump in. And you had such a nice year last year, Coach. How do you continue to build on last year going into this season?
Well, I think we got to keep reflecting on how our seniors led us last year. We only had 5 of them, but they were great leaders and great teammates. And that's kind of the example we want our seniors this year to kind of follow. And, so far going through summer, they are. And they have to be able to realize the expectations from this coaching staff in this town that last year we want that to become the norm. So continue to do what you do and we'll be successful again.
With having so few seniors, do you expect some juniors, maybe some other underclassmen to step up into a leadership role then?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We treat our freshmen like they are seniors. They get coached the same way. They get reps. We really don't look at a lot of age. If you're ready to play, you're ready to play. And small school football, I think that's what we are. And I've been like that since I've been at Ridge. If you're a freshman, you're ready to play. You're going to get your chance and just be ready when your number's called.
You have a lot of special players on this year's team. How do you take advantage of Herb's ability to do so many different things on offense?
Well, we just got to keep him within the game. Number one, we don't want him to think too much, and we don't want him to try to do too much. He's just such a natural athlete. Just be yourself. We'll have a game plan to get you the ball when we need to get you the ball. Just be yourself. Be Ian Herb. Be the great player that we all know. And, he is a special young man on and off the field. And, again, I don't want him to ever think that the pressure's on him to go out and win us a game. He just has to be himself.
I've seen in several different stories that he's in a battle for the quarterback position. Do you expect him to play multiple positions maybe on a given Friday night on that side of the ball?
I would have to think that if we want to give ourselves the best chance to win, we got to move him around a little bit. Last year he kind of took everyone by surprise and turned into one of the best backs in the area. And I would think good defensive coordinators are going to say, we got to stop the Herb kid and let everyone else try to beat us. So, we have those weapons to do that. But yes, we should move him around a little bit, give teams a different look and don't have him play one position where they can just kind of lock in on him. And again, he's had a great camp at both quarterback and running back. He's also saw reps at wide receiver. So, I would think going into it, as a good coaching staff would do, you try to get your guys the ball in different positions.
Speaking of wide receiver, you had a couple of good ones graduate. Who is stepping up to fill that role?
Right now, we have John and Julian Rossi. One's a senior, one's a junior. Brady Balestrino's having a great summer. Ethan Pemberton. All 4 of these guys are lettermen, and they're all back. They understand the offense. And we keep working our young guys in. Just like I said, I know those 4 guys aren't going to be able to go the entire game. So we have some young and inexperienced guys that are getting a lot of quality reps that when the number's called, they're going to be able to step in and make sure our offense still goes.
Coach, let's turn to the other side of the football. I know you've got a lot of experience and a lot of leaders coming back on that side.
We do. Having 9 starters back, we go into it and we're so far ahead at this time in the summer to where we were last year. We're really just refining some things on that side of the ball. And again, though, when you lose a Nathan Rorman and a Mason Miller and a Tristan Valley on that side of the ball, those are 3 big names that did a lot for us over there. There's big shoes to fill, but as a unit, I believe we're filling them. I don't know individually if we're doing that yet, but as a unit and the understanding of Coach Allen's defense and what he expects as a unit, I think we're going to be very, very good on the defensive side.
You mentioned Coach Allen, someone that has head coaching experience. How has he really taken control of that defense for you over the last few years?
Well, number one, he's a great friend of mine, and I knew when I got him to come over here, we had an agreement. It was going to be his way, and it has been. He's taken that bull by the horns, and he runs a great defensive system. It's a lot of blitzing. It's very aggressive, and we try to play as violent and as fast as we can. And he fits in here at Ridge great. He's a brother of mine, and he loves these kids, and he gets them to play for him. And again, I'm excited for that defensive side of the ball. I think we go into every game saying our defense is going to hold up. Oh, we got to do what we can to win this game.
Coach, when you look at having that much experience back, can you run a more sophisticated scheme? Can you take some more chances? How do you look at it having that much experience back?
I just think number one, we just preach to them, play fast every play. If you play fast every play and you just do your job for your brother next to you, it just happens. Yes, sometimes does it get complicated? I think so. But I think we rely more on our athleticism and just sheer understanding what's expected of them, and they understand our system now. And again, I think sometimes too, I think it's good to keep it basic. Do what you do really well and just keep doing it.
Coach, I have asked every other coach that I have talked to on this training camp run we're doing, trying to talk to everybody, this exact same question. Do you feel like the season starts too soon, and does it take too long?
Well, right now it feels like it starts too soon. When you look at your calendar and you say in 2 weeks from now, we're a Tuesday of game week, that really feels like it's quick. You know what I mean? But by the time the 18th rolls around, everyone's on the same playing field. So these are the rules that are passed down to us. We got to follow them. But yeah, right now I feel like it's really quick. Like, man, this thing's going to be here right away, even sooner than normal. And as for a long season, we made the playoffs. We lost in the first round. I'm going to be honest. I want to keep coaching. Those teams that kept going on and on in the playoffs, I'm sure they feel maybe it's a little bit longer. But for us, getting into the playoffs and that, I hope we're coaching a long time this year. So my opinion on how long it is, we had 11 weeks. I want 12. I'd love to see 13. So.
If you look at it if you play an entire season, you play 16 games and you're lucky enough to get to a state championship in 2 scrimmages, that's 18 weeks of games, especially when you're at a smaller school. How do you keep everyone healthy for that long?
Well, you got to be very strategic. And I'll tell you this, our program has really taken off numbers wise. When we first got here, I don't know if we dressed 30. I know they had 18 before the year before we got here. And now we're dressing 45. So the numbers help out a lot. And you got to be strategic. I mean, you can't go into every practice thinking you're going to bang every day, you're going to hit it. You just can't do it. You don't have the numbers, and it isn't safe for the kids. But, again, I put it on my staff and myself to make sure that we have a great plan when we take the practice field and we control our guys. And, we have a great trainer that she's always going to make sure that they're taken care of and ready to get back in the game. But again, I put that responsibility on us as coaches just to make sure we're smart and, when it's time to hit, make it short and as meaningful as possible. And again, you said that you have to stay healthy at a small school.
And I know this would extend the season even further, but would you be in favor of a bye week to kind of give teams a chance to rest up and get healthy?
I think if it was the 12-game playoff system and it was top 4 had a bye, I think I would understand it. I don't think you could do that with the 16. And then again, to those top 4 wanna-buys, that's fair to them. I think with a week of rest, I think you're given a week of rust. So, I don't think, playing at 16, 17, 2 scrimmages, I think that's a lot of football in high school kids. I mean, we might as well go to and play an NFL schedule. But, it is what it is. It's the rules we all have to follow.
You mentioned, the 16 teams in the playoffs. If you had a say in it, what do you think is the perfect number? I remember, in the early 90s when it was just 4, and now we're all the way up to 16.
I don't know. Last year we had a great football team. We were sitting at 8-2 in our region, in Region 21, 8-2, and you're not sniffing the top 8. I would have really felt cheated. I would have really said, wow, we had to be 9-1 to get in the playoffs. The year I was at reserve with Coach Hake, we had an 8-2 reserve team. No one wanted to play that team. Very good team. The 8 playoff teams, we were sitting at 11 or 10 and didn't get in. So I see both sides of it. I think 8 was that number, but again, that team we had last year, they were a playoff team. We just fell short in 2 games against 2 really good football teams. So I don't know what the answer is to expansion. I'm sure everyone's enjoying talking about it. Our approach is just show up, and this is the hand we're dealt, and we just approach it and do the best we can every day.
You mentioned your relationship with Coach Allen, but I don't think the rest of the staff ever gets enough credit. We don't really talk about those guys enough, and you're working with a great bunch of guys leading your program.
Oh, absolutely. I got a fantastic staff and loyal guys that are always with me. Coach Blazina does a great job with our O-line. Coach Calderon has been with me for years. I couldn't even put a number of years. That guy has coached lines for me, backs, wideouts if I need them to. Those guys have done really good. Coach Marcus Higgs was a player for mine in the city when I coached at Rand and East. He's back over doing wideouts. And then over on the other side, Coach Allen has his defensive guys. Coach TJ does a really good job getting our D-line ready to go and understanding the system and making sure we have a good rotation there. And of course, Coach Allen, he has to stay with his linebackers. And then we got a great young one coming up in Coach Gordon. He's going to take over. He's going to be a head coach down the road someday. We have Coach Rob. He's like my strength guy. He does everything for me. I mean, what a right-hand man to have. I have a great staff. Thank you for letting me give a shout out to them guys, because you're right. They don't get the credit they deserve. And as a head coach, I believe, and I know it's a saying, you're only as good as them guys are that are in that office with you. And I got a great group.
Coach Shaner joining us on the phone, the head coach, 5th year at Mineral Ridge. And Coach, you look at your schedule and it's absolutely challenging, whether it's the non-conference portion or the conference portion. You're going to have a challenge in front of you for 10 weeks.
I think so. I think there's a lot of parity in our league. I still, as great as Louisville was last year and that great class they have, I think we're all still kind of chasing Springfield. Louisville is going to be dynamic again. Reserve, they got a ton coming back and they're going to be ready to go. Jackson Milton always fights. Waterloo gives us fits every single year. It is. It's a great league, and our out of league schedule. It's we got to travel going all the way to Orange and St. Thomas. Those are 2 road trips that if we don't show up ready to play, we can very easily drop one of those games. And hosting Pie Valley, it's physical right off the bat. You're going to get probably some of the biggest linemen we're going to see all year, and we're going to get them week 1 here. So yeah, it is grueling, and I don't think I'd have it any other way. And now you throw another non-conference in there. Look what Matthews has built over there. We get them week 7 this year, and it is what it is. And our kids, they'll be up to the task, and we'll give everything we got every week.
Finally, Coach, what is a couple of keys for you? If you can accomplish these 2 or 3 things, you can have a successful year.
I'm going to give you the answer that I'm sure every coach gives you. It's going to be health. We have to be as healthy as we can each and every week. We have to make sure that we fill the shoes of those seniors we lost. I mean, our 2 linemen and Ben Collins and G, and then losing a quarterback like Valley, who was such a commander out there, and 2 of the best defensive players I think we had in the area, Mason Miller and Rorman. It's really tough. We have to find a way to fill all those 5 senior shoes without having 5 guys that play like them. We have to figure out a way to do it as a unit, as a team, as a collaboration. And then we will be right where we were last year.
Do you change the approach kind of going from, maybe under the radar to having a great year last year to now knowing teams are circling the Rams when they see you on their schedule?
I think we have to. I think the way we talk to our boys every day is we do things different, and that the way we do things has now brought you guys attention. We have a winning program. No one's going to overlook you. You're going to get everyone's best punch. So you better practice like it. You better show up here every day knowing that no one's going to back down from you. That there's still people out there that think we're the Mineral Ridge of the past, and we're not. And everyone's going to want a piece of you. And when you guys start getting positive press, yes, you get circled on some calendars, and I'm sure there are a couple of teams in our league that have it circled and are ready to play us, just like we have some circled, and we'll be ready to play them.
Coach, who's the scrimmage against this week?
This week we host Brookfield, Saturday at 11.
That'll be a challenge for you.
Absolutely. I told our boys we wanted to step it up a little bit and play someone in our region, and definitely a really good football program.
Coach, appreciate your time. Have a fantastic season. Health to you and the roster. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is fifth-year head coach Brian Shaner joining us during practice at Mineral Ridge. We appreciate Coach taking a few minutes to join us here on today's show. All of the coaches have been fantastic. We've had several of them step out of practice to come on the show and join us for 20 minutes and talk about their program and talk about their school and talk about their kids. And you can hear the passion and the excitement. And, it's not that far away. It's not that far away. There's big games coming in the next couple of weeks. And, I mean, when you start off and you say games like Springfield and South Range on Friday, Niles and Howland on Thursday, Canton McKinley and Warren Harding on Friday, we're not just taking it easy. We're jumping right into it week one with some really, really big games. We'll take a break. We'll come back. What's trending is next on By All Means.
Golf in the Mahoning Valley starts at Mill Creek Golf Course. Mill Creek Golf Course is the host venue for the AJGA PGA Hope Program, 8 high school teams, and 2 collegiate teams. Mill Creek Golf Course is your Callaway certified golf hub fitting facility. It was named the PGA of America's National Merchandiser of the Year for a public facility 2022. Book your tee time at 330-740-7112 or online at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Accidents happen. That's why you need Repair That Glass. Specializing in windshield replacement and all other auto glass, we offer a full range of automotive glass repairs. Our technicians can do everything from minor chip repair to a complete replacement. Your windows don't go up or down, they can fix that too, along with custom glass work and antiques. Repair That Glass is a family-run business for over 40 years. Repair That Glass. Call for your appointment now at 330-534-3192.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
By All Means continues here on Western Reserve Radio, brought to you by our friends at Mill Creek Golf Course. Visit millcreekmetroparks.org for more information. Time to jump into what's trending. What's trending is, of course, the Cleveland Cobras, as they are in the opening round of the Tri-Point Football League playoffs. They will be hosting the Pittsburgh Saints on a Saturday at 7 o'clock from Lakewood Middle School, right back at home. 6:45, 6:50 airtime for Jim and Bob back with you this week. The Saints, don't be deceived by their record at 3-5. Look at who they've played. Look at who they've beaten. And I will say this is not your easy, just first round rollover game. This is going to be a challenge for the Cobras in that matchup on Saturday. Hear it right here on Western Reserve Radio. Now, we talk high school football, but college football is also right around the corner. Youngstown State had their first practice of the season yesterday with more than 100 players on the field at Stambaugh Stadium. They go to pads on Saturday for the first time, and their first inter-squad scrimmage is August 12th, all leading up to the season opener against Valparaiso to kick things off here in the 2023 season. Speaking of that Penguin football team, the Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Days were today. We will hear from the coaching staff a little later on, probably next week on the show as they get ready to kick off the season. Youngstown State picked to finish 6th out of the 12 teams in the Missouri Valley Football Conference preseason poll. The poll was voted upon by league coaches, media, and sports information directors and was released this morning. Defending national champion South Dakota earned 44 of 45 first-place votes to take the top spot in the poll. And it's going to be an interesting year for the Penguins. There's a lot of experience coming back. There's a lot of talented players coming back. Always, every season, there are holes to fill among a football team when you're trying to rebuild. So only time will tell just how good this team is going to be. Mitch Davison, you got a local kid leading you at quarterback. Always love to see that. So we'll have to see. Only time will tell, because when you play in the Missouri Valley, you play in the best FCS conference in the country, hands down. So just because you're picked 6th in the conference doesn't mean, no playoffs this year. Let's just wait and see. Let's wait and see what the team does and how they play this season. So let's give it some time to see, and don't just judge on a preseason poll. Other news, congratulations to the Austintown 12U softball team. They advanced to the Little League World Series following a 4-0 win over Iowa in the Central Regional Championship last week. After losing the tournament opener last Sunday, Austintown finished regional play with a 6-1 record, including a win over Iowa to clinch moving on to the World Series. The Little League Softball World Series will take place August 6th to the 13th in Greenville, North Carolina. Austintown will face North Carolina in Game 1 of the Little League World Series on Sunday, August 6th at 10 a.m. And if you have the service, the game will be streamed live on ESPN+. Now to the Major League Baseball trade deadline. With the deadline just about 32 minutes from now, we saw the Pirates being active again, trading Rich Hill and G-Man Choi after trading Carlos Santana a few days ago. We wondered what the Guardians would do, what they would do, and how they would do it. Will they addition by subtraction? Are they improving? Are they looking for the future? Are they a buyer? Or are they a seller? Well, they traded Rosario to the Dodgers for Noah Syndergaard, who pitched, I would say, better than I anticipated yesterday, till he got hit by a comebacker in the 6th and had to come out of the game. Did I expect 5 1/3 and 1 run from Syndergaard? I did not. Under any expectations have that. So we'll see, how is he after the comebacker leaving the game with an injury yesterday? And how does he pitch going forward? I believe he's a free agent. So unless he comes to a team-friendly deal, he's probably not going to be on this roster next year. So we'll have to wait and find out. The one that surprised me, the one that disappointed me, was the Aaron Savale trade yesterday. Savale's not flashy in anything that he does. But he goes out there when healthy, and he pitches, and he wins, and he gets the job done. He's going to give you 5, 6, 7 innings most nights out there, and he's going to give your team a chance to win. Now, they got in return from Tampa Bay, if you have not heard, a first baseman with a lot of potential. He was in the top 40 in MLB Pipeline's minor league rankings, and he's now in the top 5 overall in the Guardians organization for prospects. He's hurt right now. He's on the IL in his first year at AAA. It hasn't gone well so far. But if you look at it last year in AA, he had the top batting average in all of minor league baseball. It was like 327, somewhere in that area. So he's a guy that can produce. I'm just curious what the future holds. Because if you're Josh Naylor and you're having an all-star type season, and then you bring in a player like this, I wonder. Because, I mean, Naylor is not a Gold Glove caliber defender. I like him better at first in the outfield. So I only wonder, do the Guardians plan on, potentially moving him to first base? Moving him to the outfield instead of first base. Got breaking news from Jeff Passant from ESPN. The Rangers have acquired Austin Hedges from the Pittsburgh Pirates. He just tweeted out. So the former Guardian catcher, now the former Pirate catcher, on the move to the Rangers, who have just gone out and pretty much got anything and everything, because those guys, if anybody is all in, they're all in. And the Angels aren't far behind them with the moves that they've made. The fact that they have said they're not going to trade Ohtani, that hopefully Trout is not that far away, that Mickey Moniak has finally lived up to that first-round potential we saw from him when he was drafted, but just was not able to produce like that for the Phillies. He's been fantastic for the Angels and their outfield. So you look at tonight's matchup, and for me, everybody knows how much I love baseball, but for me, Gavin Williams is a must-watch every time he starts, and he starts tonight against Framber Valdez. So on paper, that's a fantastic game. We'll have to see, because once Syndergaard got banged up yesterday, the floodgates opened, the walks started coming left and right over, I believe they had 8 over 3-inning stretch. It had me just turn the TV off because I couldn't take it anymore. So, we'll see how it all pans out. They come right back with a day game tomorrow with Tanner Bybee scheduled to get the baseball for the Guardians against an opponent to be determined before they return home to start a weekend series against the White Sox. That'll actually be the first of 7 straight at home, 3 against the White Sox, 4 against the Blue Jays, then off to Tampa and Cincinnati, which, boy, Cincinnati's turned into a whole bunch of fun to watch. You look at the Pirates off yesterday. They've got a quick 2-gamer against Detroit at home. Matt Manning and Luis Oviedo tonight is the pitching matchup. And then they themselves have a day game tomorrow, 12:35 first pitch, before heading out onto the road as they will begin the month of August. 2 against Detroit at home, 4 at Milwaukee Thursday through Monday. Then it's 4 against Atlanta and 3 against Cincinnati before the Mets and Twins come up on the road. So I'll be honest with you, I'm not quite sure just exactly what the Guardians are doing. Could you, I personally, and I saw some reporters even say it, I feel like you could have got more for Rosario than a rental pitcher and Noah Syndergaard. And the Guardians brass has even said, they let him go a couple starts and then they'll start tweaking things. Looked pretty darn good yesterday and well exceeded my expectations. then you trade Savali, who's probably your best pitcher right now. That's not a rookie. I mean, Williams and Bybee and all those guys. And personally, I don't know if Bieber pitches at any point again this year. And don't be concerned by the move of putting him on the 60-day IL. That's more of a paper move than anything. So we knew the Pirates were going to unload. Did we think it was this much? Rich Hill, G-Man Choi, Carlos Santana, Austin Hedges just a couple of minutes ago. There was early debate whether they would trade Andrew McCutchen, which, hasn't happened. And you bring a guy like that back, you publicize that, you kind of build your season around Kutch returning. You can't trade him. And he's played well. I even wonder if he's got another year or two left in him. Only time will tell about that. And we'll see. Am I saying that the Guardians have given up on the 2023 Central Division title? No. But it's going to be interesting to see how things play out here over the next couple of weeks. As the trade deadline has, approximately 24 minutes left before we hit 6 o'clock, and then we're done. No second trade deadline like there used to be. None of that stuff anymore. We'll come back. We'll talk some more high school football. That's next on By All Means.
Golf in the Mahoning Valley starts at Mill Creek Golf Course. Come out to the 36 beautiful hole design course by Donald Ross, and golf lessons are available by calling the team shop at 330-740-7112. Don't forget about family fun nights on Friday and Saturday evenings, a family of 4 with cart for only $25. Or visit the Wick Recreation Area and the lighted Par 3 course. Book your tee time today at 330-740-7112 or online at millcreekmetroparks.org.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier. Then make sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Miss an episode of By All Means, and you could miss a lot.
To the radio play-by-play voice and our buddy back from here in Youngstown, it is the voice Fitz. Everett Fitzhugh. My friend, how are you?
Man, it feels good to hear your voice again, Mark. Everything's going well, and definitely excited to be back on the airwaves briefly for here in Youngstown.
By all means, Tuesdays at 5, right here on Western Reserve Radio and streaming live on westernreserveradio.com.
This is Matt Lipsack, the voice of the Youngstown Phantoms, and your home for Phantoms hockey is Western Reserve Radio.
Right back here on By All Means on Western Reserve Radio, brought to you by our friends at Mill Creek Golf Course. Visit millcreekmetroparks.org to book your tee time today. So over the last couple of shows, we've been kind of teasing that we've got an announcement because we're going to do something a little differently with our high school football broadcast this year. We're going to try, and we're not going to try, we're going to do a 3-man booth for one particular game. And why we're going to do that is because we're going to have a whole bunch of fun. And that fun involves someone that's been on the show before. It is the other Mark Means. Cousin, how are you?
Oh, great, Mark. Gan, I'm so excited to be here on another episode of By All Means. I like to say this means something to be here. It's very special to be here and be on the show today.
So what we are going to do is we are going to pull from your expertise coaching and being involved in and broadcasting a little high school football in Western Pennsylvania. So the announcement is Mark is going to be joining Dave Clark and I on the call for that Farrell-Warren Harding game on September 1st. And you and I have been talking about it for months, kind of working everything out to lead up to that game. But this is going to be a whole lot of fun. We've never really tried something like this before, and people aren't going to know which Mark Means is talking at what point.
Yeah, it'll be very excited. I'm looking forward to it. Me and you never being into the booth together is going to be just so much fun. I'm looking so forward to this, and especially this big matchup between Harding and Farrell. It's going to be action-packed, full of speed. I can't wait for it.
So for those that are listening and don't know, your background is coaching. You're not coaching this season, but you've been a head coach and an assistant coach for a long time. So kind of give people that aren't familiar with what you've done a little bit of your background.
Yeah, for the past 17 years, I've coached football at the varsity level. I started at West Middlesex High School back in around 2005. Became the head coach in 2018. All the way up through until we had a merger with Sharpsville, and I was on with the Sharpsville High School football program and the kids at West Middlesex High School.
And, the interesting thing about that is we've seen that with Warren Harding years ago when Harding and Reserve combined into one team. And from everything that I read and everybody that I talked to, you put two rivals together, and for the most part, it went pretty well.
Yeah, for us it did. We didn't miss a beat, really. I mean, it's two towns with similarities in backgrounds, blue-collar, hard-nosed type kids. And, we came together and we had one goal in mind. That was to play football, and both sides wanted to win. And from the rip, our coaching staff at West Middlesex and Sharpsville just really gelled, and Coach Piccarelli has really brought us in as his own, and we hit it off from the get-go.
And you know what? This game that we're going to do, you, me, and Dave Clark, a month from today, and it's interesting because it's two storied programs, here in Ohio and in Western Pennsylvania. And I reached out to our mutual friend Ryan Briggs, who I've done games with over the years and worked for him at Grove City College, and I said, Briggsy, have these two schools ever met? And he sent me the most informative layout that I ever could imagine from 1918, when they only played 3 seasons at Farrell, Mark, because of the pandemic at that point, up until last year. And it had towns and schools that I have never heard of in my life. It was so informative. But digging into that information, I found out, unless I missed one through there, and we'll go back and double check it before the game on the 1st, this will be the 3rd meeting between Farrell and Harding all time, and the season series is even at 1 apiece.
Wow, I mean that's a crazy stat when you look at it. Hats off to Briggsy. I knew he'd come up with something. He'd give you the whole history of both programs and everything like that. But 1-1. Wow. I think this is a good segue into, round 3 at Harding.
And, it's interesting because 1950 went to Farrell, 1951 went to Harding. This will be the third matchup. And the thing that I'm curious about, Harding will have had, they'll have an extra game under their belt than Farrell because Western PA starts a week later. Do you think that'll make any difference, but at all from a coaching perspective, or because both teams have played games, kind of just throw that out?
Yeah, it kind of works both ways, really. I mean, you have an extra week of maybe getting somebody injured that you don't want to have injured. It also can give you an extra week to kind of get your group a little bit better and cleaned up before you take on, Farrell. So I don't know, but I think both programs being as, historically very good and well coached with a lot of great athletes, I think it really evens out. I don't think it really makes much of a difference.
And you look at it, and Coach Pegues had another typical Farrell season last year, 10-2, won a lot of football games, but things were a little different at Malakoff Stadium for Warren Harding last year. Just a 2-8 season for Coach Arnold, did not make the playoffs, something that they are not used to. And in a year where they gave up over 30 points per game defensively, I know that's been their focus. So, I'm curious just how this game plays out, because we know about the two programs, the coaches know about the two programs, but the kids don't. It's just another game on the schedule.
Right. Yeah. And I think, Coach Pegues will have them, ready to go because they know how good Harding is. Looking at their schedule, I mean, they played Hudson in week 3. That was a 13-1, 6-0 program. They lost 21-7. They were in the ball game the whole time. We go to week 5 where they played Ursuline, who was 10-3, 3-0, and they lost to Ursuline 28-14. And I'll come back to that here in a second. Then you look at week 6 for Harding. They lost to St. Vincent St. Mary's 27-12. We know all about St. V's, St. Vincent St. Mary's. They were 8-5. And then Chaney, they were 10-2, 3-1 team, and they lost to them 21-14. So really, you look at that. They're playing some high-powered football teams, and they were in these games each week. I mean, they could have easily won 6-7 games on that schedule. So I think Farrell will be definitely well aware of that, and I think that really goes back to that matchup because we have similarities between Farrell and Harding to look at when it came to the Ursuline game. Farrell dropping to Ursuline 40-38 last year. So that comparison, if we're going to do comparisons, I think that's the best one to look at. For these two programs coming into their third matchup all time.
And it's interesting, too, because I talked to Coach Arnold a couple weeks back, and, one of their big questions, they graduated a multi-year starter at quarterback, and they have, 2 or 3 student athletes competing for that position. And then, with scrimmages starting as soon as this weekend here in Ohio, that's something that'll be working itself out. But, I'm curious, and, I've talked off the air. I've heard some people say this may be one of the better Farrell teams ever, which is kind of frightening if you look at how good some of the other teams have been.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I say this year in and year out. Every time I had to play against Farrell, I said, well, they're pretty much going to lose almost 12 seniors this year. I'm pretty sure they lost about that many last year. And I'm thinking, they're going to have a little step down. And that's one thing that Farrell does is they just constantly, reload with great talent. They're bringing back Cabron Smith, starting quarterback that passed for about over 1,900 yards last year. And then also Brandon Chambers, their running back, who rushed for over 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. So, and they got a couple more great athletes. Samir Wade was a transfer from Kennedy Catholic that came in, and I thought he was one of the best athletes next to Kylon Wilson, who they lost, due to the senior graduation this year. Kylon was unbelievable for Farrell, all over the field defensively, like an outside linebacker, and it's a slot position. But I think, in my mind, as a coach, that I think Samir Wade could be almost and maybe just as, if not better, than Kylon Wilson. They got talent.
That's saying a lot, but yeah, that team definitely has some talent, and it's one of those where, I'm excited about this because when I was in high school about 30 years ago, we saw more of this where Ohio and PA teams crossed the border. I remember we went to West Middlesex and played in their holiday tournament when I was at Hubbard, and we saw it a lot more. It's not as prevalent as it used to be. The only other one I'm aware of is Hubbard and Greenville are playing this year, and the second of a 2-year deal between those two schools.
Yeah, we did it at Sharpsville. We crossed borders. We went over to, I'm trying to think of, it was like over the Falcons. I can't
Austintown Fitch?
No.
Jefferson.
Jefferson, that's it, correct. Yeah,
Okay.
Jefferson, and then we had a team from Ohio come over to us the year before that. And again, that escapes my memory here for a minute. But we've had some crossovers, but not a ton. I would like to see it a little bit more. I know Conneaut, Ohio, has played in District 10 over the past few years, and has played District 10 football teams over here in PA. So you don't see it a lot, but I think it would be nice to see that a little bit more, and it's really exciting to see this matchup with Farrell making that trek over to Harding.
And I know you've done a couple of games the last couple of years on the radio, but I'll tell you what my old partner told me. He came off the field as an official and into the broadcast booth where he's been since then. And he said, the best part about that, there's no parents. There's nobody mad at you. You can just sit up there, watch the game, and enjoy it. You don't have to worry about, guys staying healthy or rotations. You can just, break down the game and have some fun. And I hope that's what we're able to do on September 1st.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you what, though, going into the booth a few times, it gave me a great respect for what you guys do and how it really isn't just easy. You guys make it sound so easy, but there's a lot of studying behind that and things, a little bit different than maybe from what I'm going to be doing, just watching the game and giving, my coaching, opinion, I guess. But I definitely have a big respect for guys that are on the radio broadcasting and calling games and things like that, because it definitely isn't easy, but you guys make it look easy.
I appreciate that. I've had a chance to work with a lot of great guys, and I work with, Mark Slazak and Bob Greenberg and all those guys and Briggsy and everybody over there for about 5 years. So I've called games pretty much all over the Valley. But Mark, we're up against a break. We will talk to you in 1 month for Farrell and Warren Harding here on Western Reserve Radio. Looking forward to it.
Me too. Thanks for having me on, Mark. I'll see you soon.
That was the other Mark Means, the Mark with a K, however you want to refer to it, my cousin Mark, who will join us in the booth for that game with Dave Clark. We will take our final break. We'll come back and we'll look ahead to a special supersized show next Tuesday on By All Means.
Golf in the Mahoning Valley starts at Mill Creek Golf Course. Mill Creek Golf Course is the host venue for the AJGA PGA Hope Program, 8 high school teams, and 2 collegiate teams. Mill Creek Golf Course is your Callaway certified golf club fitting facility. It was named the PGA of America's National Merchandiser of the Year for a public facility 2022. Book your tee time at 330-740-7112 or online at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the right seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio, take one.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Mill Creek Golf Course is the Valley's leader for golfing fun with a practice range, short game area, and hole 55 bar and grill all on site. Mill Creek Golf Course features a friendly PGA professional staff available for instruction, along with 36 challenging holes designed by the legendary Donald Ross. Don't forget family fun night golf on Fridays and Saturdays for just $25. For details and tee times, call 330-740-7112 or go online to millcreekmetroparks.org. Miss an episode of By All Means, and you can miss a lot.
Mark, you're 100% right. He does not get enough credit around the league. Obviously, Coach Calhoun and the assistants and the rest of the players here at YSU know how valuable he is. He is right now their best player on the floor, hands down.
By All Means, Tuesdays at 5, right here on Western Reserve Radio and streaming live on westernreserveradio.com.
Hiya, Queen of All Knowledge here, reminding you, creeps out there on the internet hack, scam, and trick savvy cyber users every day, but we can fight back. It's as easy as IC3. If you're a victim of online crime, don't give up. Visit IC3, the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. Your tips help the FBI track down cyber criminals around the world. Report your crime to www.ic3.gov today.
You're listening to Western Reserve Radio at westernreserveradio.com on the Live 365 network and the Live 365 app.
Wrapping up today's edition of By All Means. Thank you to today's guests who stopped by to say hello. Coach Shaner from Mineral Ridge in his 5th year, joining us in the coaches training camp session that we always do. And you just heard from the other Mark Means, excited to work with my cousin and Dave Clark for that Farrell Warren Harding game at Mollenkoff 1 month from today. We will already be in the booth and set up and getting ready to get on the air at 6:40. Speaking of high school football, we are going to do our 2-hour high school football preview show next Tuesday. You will hear from all of our insiders and experts. We'll talk to Matt Emsch. We'll talk to Coach Kessler. We'll talk to Dave Clark. We'll talk to Jim Craven. We'll talk to everybody. We'll have them all. We'll even talk to our friend Austin Maludik from Maludik Live, who is back on board as a sponsor this year again for our high school football broadcast. So a big thank you to Austin for that, and all of the old and new sponsors coming back to join us here in 2023. So nothing but high school football coming at you on next week's show from 5 until 7 o'clock right here on Western Reserve Radio. Don't forget the show is available in podcast form. Just search for By All Means. Or go to wbbw.com or follow me on Twitter, and the show will be up sometime the next day. So for occasional co-host and executive producer Dave Ferris, for owner-operator Jim Craven, my name is Mark Means. You've been listening to By All Means right here on Western Reserve Radio, part of the iMedia1 network.